right now, very influential people are at the mercy of these large social media platforms. If they talk back about their values, major things that they have their own opinions about, they can delete them off the platform and delete their entire income overnight.
Welcome to the Troy Kearns Podcast. We talk all things real estate, business, and entrepreneurship. Today, I've got a cool person that I met when I was looking for a new market to invest in. His name is Luke Lintz. He's someone that I've kept in touch with for the last several years. I've watched his businesses grow. I've seen what he's done on social media. He's got a really compelling story that I want to get into. Luke, welcome to the show.
Troy, thanks for having me on. Really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. I'm really impressed by you at such a young age, what you've been able to achieve. I want to tell a little bit about how we met, and then I want you to tell us your story about where you're at today and how you got there. But for those of you guys who are listening or watching right now, I had been looking for a new market to invest in, and I had recently joined a business seminar league, which was Anderson Business Advisors, where they help you with getting all your stuff together in a row. And one of the speakers that came through was a guy named Aaron Adams. And I thought he had a really compelling message. And he was talking about a city that I had known about, which was Indianapolis. And so I went there to hear his spiel. And I'm walking around. I don't know if you remember, but I'm walking around outside and I see this guy on a bench, and he's like glued to his phone. And we start talking. It was Luke. And I'm like, dude, this guy's smart as shit. And you're like, yeah, I'm here to support my friend Stefan. I don't know what Stefan's last name is.
Stefan Arnio,
who tragically passed away early in life. And you were there supporting him. And we got to know each other and talk about social media. This is before I even went into social media, before I went to Kansas City. And then you've blown up on social media. You've gotten more star power than freaking A-list celebrities get. So I'd love to hear about your story. I'd love to hear about what you've got going on now, what your focuses are, and how you got to where you're at right now.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll kind of start from reverse order, because I normally start from the beginning to the top, but I feel like people would more enjoy hearing like where we're at now and then how we got here. So in terms of where we're at now, like we've been able to create an offer where we've been able to attract A-list celebrities. Like up until this point, we partnered up with Snoop Dogg, Kevin Hart, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, DaBaby, Bella Thorne. Like the list goes on. We partnered up with close to 100 A-list celebrities now. And I think we're actually one of the top companies in terms of that's partnered up with the most A-list celebrities in the time span of like 3 years when we have over the past 3 years. So
it's incredible.
Thank you, man. Thank you. So in terms of like how we got here is we started with an e-commerce company when I was in high school. And we basically just found a problem that we had at the time, which was we wanted wireless earbuds. And so we wanted to be able to not have our corded earbuds get ripped out at the gym when we were working out. That was the main problem. And so we started looking to source for wireless earbuds when there were no wireless earbuds on the market at the time. And so we found a pair of wireless earbuds on Alibaba that we could wholesale purchase and put our logo on. And it was just the right product at the right time. And we made a decent amount of money off of that. And then we made huge business errors because we had no business experience. This was our first business. Right. And we transitioned into what our expertise was in, which was we realized that we were really good at branding and marketing. And we realized we were really good at social media specifically. And so then we started offering our services to other people that we could do social media for. And so the first person was Stefan Arnio, who we connected with because we were both from the same town in Winnipeg. And we said that we would do his social media for him. And so we put together this huge pitch for him when we had no idea if it would actually work. And it turns out it did. And we were able to grow him massively. We grew his Instagram over 200,000 followers. We grew his other channels like hundreds of thousands of followers just from his organic content. He was saying some very controversial things, so it made sense. And then so we basically just ran with that, where we got referrals from Stefan. we got in contact with people like you, Troy, and lots of other real estate people where we kind of honed in on the real estate niche when we were going to seminars, conferences, talking about social media. We knew that we could do a really good job for real estate investors in particular, because they usually have an extremely big personal presence in terms of localized or in terms of how much wealth and money that they have accumulated, but they don't have that good of digital presence. And so there's a disconnect there when people start searching them up on their digital business card, like Instagram, it lowers their credibility in the real world. And so we just played off of that, of just continuing on and adding on services to our PR firm of leveling up people's digital brands specifically.
That's awesome. So the name of your business is HighKey, and I know there's separate arms like HighKey Agency, HighKey Clout, and I know HighKey Earbuds. I mean, there's a bunch of. Where did the name HighKey come from, and what does it mean to you guys?
That's a good question. So it started off with low key, because we wanted to name our company off of a very popular search term so we could get organic SEO from it. And low key at the time, back in 2016, was the third most searched Google term at the time.
Right.
And so we went to the corporation office to hand in our papers of registering low key, and they basically turned us away and they said low key's already registered. And so we went back to think about it, and we're like, hey, we're not even low key individuals. Like, we're extremely energetic, like extremely up there. So we flipped it. We had the logo at the time, so it was like upside down, and we just like flipped it around, and we're like, hey, like, let's name this HighKey.
I like it. You got to roll with the punches, right? Like innovation. So you came up with the name HighKey based off of like reverse engineering low key, and then coming up, okay, that didn't work. Let's just roll with it because that doesn't fit our brand anyways, and it worked out perfectly for you. So how did you get into SEO and then get into social media?
Well, we started with social media first in terms of like developing our brand for the wireless earbud side of things on social media. We've since ditched that company of the product-based business. We gave away all of our inventory just fully because we wanted our focus to be 100% dialed in on our client services. And we've learned the power of like focusing in on one main thing at all times, on the micro level of only working on one thing at once, and on the macro level of working on like one main business objective. And so we're 100% focused on our umbrella, which is HighKey Enterprises. And then it's separated into HighKey Agency, which handles press for our clients' personal brands, and then HighKey Clout, which handles social media growth for our clients' personal brands.
Okay, that's awesome. So Luke, if we're getting into it, and going to the A-list celebrity thing, which is, by the way, genius. And also, I don't think people realize how hard it is to get those people's attention. And then on top of getting those A-list celebrities' attention is getting them, finding out what that number is that you would need to pay them to work with you. And then I'm sure it's almost a snowball effect of like, oh, they've seen you with this person. So then this person, it's almost like the clout. Like you said, you're getting the clout from the next person, which you've built. But me personally, I realize how important it is. I've tried to reach out to people like Pat Mahomes and people like, some big celebrity Kansas City guys that I know, like, man, if I could get these guys on the show, it's going to give me a lot of clout. And so I wanted to talk with, like, you work with your brothers, which is super cool. Like all you and your brothers, it's Jordan and it's Jackson and Luke, right?
Yeah, Luke, and then older brother Jordan, younger brother Jackson.
Okay, so you guys all work together. You guys live in Puerto Rico 180 days a year, or whatever it is, to not pay any taxes, right?
Yeah, 183.
183, cool. Yeah, 183 days. And then I'm imagining it's when Winnipeg gets cold, you go down there. And tell me like, how did you get who was your first celebrity and how did you get him?
Yeah, so first influencer that we partnered with was Supreme Patty. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of him. First big recognizable celebrity that we partnered with was Bad Baby. who was on Dr. Phil that said like, "Catch me outside." How about that? Do you remember that? Do you remember that girl on Dr. Phil?
I vaguely do. Yes.
Yeah, and then we worked with a couple of other influencers, and then we worked with a couple of rappers, and then it went right into Kevin Hart, Snoop Dogg. And then after that, we were able to use those names, just like you said, and snowball it. But I can give some like tips if anybody's like wanting to reach out to influencers and celebrities. Like some tips is we used this website called bookingagentinfo.com. And it basically has all of the contact details of celebrities and major influencers and their managers, where you can call up and email those specific people. Also, if you look up contact lists for celebrities on Google, there's a few other softwares out there. Booking Agent Info is just the best one that we've used. The next thing is like Instagram DMing. It's unbelievable, where you have to realize when you're Instagram DMing somebody cold, where you have to think about, why does somebody open up your Instagram DM? And
Right.
so all you want to do is simply pique the interest of somebody enough for them to put you in their primary inbox if you're cold outreaching. So when you send a cold DM, just do a headline where like we've gotten deals with certain rappers and celebrities where I got Little Baby to respond to my Instagram DM just by saying, "I have a money bag emoji for you. ? Let me know if you're interested." That's it. Because all you're trying to get is a response and getting into the primary inbox, where I see people so many times making mistakes of putting huge messages of their full offer or the full thing that they're asking of the other person in the messages, when people will just screen that because they don't have the time to go through that. But as soon as you're in somebody's primary inbox, you can follow up with them as much as you want. And you can unsend your messages and resend it. So you're just trying to get into that primary inbox and get a response, and everything goes down the Instagram DMs. And then the third thing is, in terms of reaching out to managers in particular, is higher level celebrity managers are heavily on LinkedIn. And so you can reach out to celebrity managers on LinkedIn if they're of the older generation. Usually rapper managers aren't on there. It's more higher level A-list celebrities.
Right. It's so crazy too, because like me being double your age, I think you're what, 23?
You just turned 24.
All right. So I'm turning 46 this year. So, you know,
No way.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So, but you know, it's cool to watch like somebody like you at your age. First of all, this younger generation kind of sucks, but you're not one of those people who sucks. Like, you're a go-getter. And for me, that inspires me to just keep bringing it. Like when I see guys that are younger than me that are grinding it, like a bunch of my buddies who got me into the social media, it's because for me, it's competitive, right? Like, it's like, okay, who can grow the biggest following? Who can get this space? My question for you is that, and that is great advice, man. If you're listening right now, like, that is like 5-star review advice. So make sure that you give Luke a 5-star review. The thing that I have a question for is like, how did you come up with the amount of money that you're going to pay someone? Because what it comes down to is, for those of you guys who don't know, for me, it was like kind of completely foreign, is I've never had to pay anybody anything. And I've usually just got them to do, get access to them. I've usually used a connection to get them. But when you're paying people, you get their attention a lot more. Like, I got a money bag for you. And I don't ever think that way. And I probably should, because it would cut out a lot of the heartache and get me exactly to the person that I need to talk to, versus wasting a bunch of time trying to grind it out and get there. How do you determine how you're going to pay somebody something? And how much?
Yeah, no, that's an unbelievable question, and I want to take that in a certain way. But how we determine it isn't like 100% scientific with like a mathematical equation. It's not. And so what we do is we look at basically 4 categories. So we look at the person's total amount of followers, celebrity or influencer. We look at their like to follow ratio on their posts. So basically their most recent posts, how many likes are they getting compared to the amount of followers? That gives us an idea of basically how engaged their audience is, and then gives us an estimation of how much engagement our post will get if we do a campaign with them. And then we look at their overall notoriety in terms of like in the A-list celebrity field, like how notable are they? And then the fourth category is we look at their demographic in terms of male and female, just because across every single industry, a female dominated audience is worth more.
1,000%.
Yeah, for practically any single industry, females just purchase more. And so it's way more valuable.
They purchase more and they make the decisions.
yeah, in real estate, especially.
Well, I mean, you've got a steady, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, who's making the decisions in your guys' relationship?
I like to think I wear the pants.
Yeah. She picks them out though.
It is true. She literally picked me out pants the other day. But one thing that I wanted to take that just to give the audience more value, if they are looking at getting into celebrities or influencer marketing, is that celebrities oftentimes, if you look at A-list celebrities, the cost that you have to pay for the A-list celebrities is never worth it in terms of the direct output that you'll get of the deliverables. And what I mean by that is if you pay an A-list celebrity $100,000 to do one post on Instagram, there is zero chance any single brand is getting a direct ROI from that one post. It's all of the supplementary things that come from that's bringing value. For example, meeting up with the celebrity and getting pictures, being able to reuse that direct that content with the celebrity direct ads in the future, being able to put that picture of the celebrity on your website for that third-party credibility. And for most people, nobody has six-figure budgets like when you're just getting going to be partnering up with a celebrity. And so I've talked about this on my social media and in a couple of YouTube videos that micro influencers are for sure the way to go, where you're targeting 50 to 200,000 followed accounts, either on Instagram or TikTok, that are specifically in your niche. This works really well for product-based businesses specifically, where you target 50 to 200,000 followers, where they're in your specific area, and you reach out to them and you just send them products for free. And then you're able to usually get promo for dirt cheap pricing, where they're promoting your product for either for free or for dirt cheap pricing. And it's way more cost effective. And that's what we did with our e-commerce company when we first started out, is we were sending our products to as many micro influencers as possible. And we were getting tons flooded of picture video content for free.
Well, I would consider myself a micro influencer, and nobody's ever sent me jack squat. And so I think it's a good idea. Like, send people stuff. Like I sent I was trying to get Rick Ross on, and in his book, he says, send me something. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I sent him a book with a letter, just like, hey man, try to make it personalized. I wasn't expecting
that's sick.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting anything, but I figured, you know what? Listen, let's send people's stuff. Just like you, I've sent my book to a bunch of people, whether they wanted it or not, but I think that's great advice. People don't get crap. Nobody takes the time to send them anything that's personalized, that means something to them. They don't do their research. It sounds like you guys do a ton of research.
So much. Yeah. So much research. Our outreach emails, our follow-up emails are so personalized because we do our research beforehand of knowing the exact person we want to hit up. And so we're not mass hitting up a ton of people, and we're hyper personalized, especially when we're talking about celebrities and influencers that we're working with.
That's awesome. So your business today, where it's at, you guys are focusing on agency business. You're focusing on a lot of different things. You also have some interest in cryptocurrency, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah. Cryptocurrency is more on the personal side of things, where the business is focusing on leveling up industry leaders' personal brands.
Okay, cool. So crypto is just something that you're personally interested in.
Yeah.
I thought your idea on it, I did listen to it, and I thought your idea was genius. Like, you tied it to their social score or something like that. Can you break that down for us? Like, because I think it's probably the best way to go, in my opinion. I thought the idea is
for sure
solid.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah. So cryptocurrency, for anybody that doesn't know, it has disrupted the financial space for sure, at least a decent amount. Like it hit over a 20 trillion market cap, which is definitely up there in the top five like assets in the entire world. And so it's only going to grow in the future because it has like that initial trust barrier broken. Um, but what cryptocurrency is built on is it's built on blockchain technology. And what this is you can imagine, for example, a Google spreadsheet or an Excel spreadsheet.
Right.
And let's actually imagine a Google spreadsheet. And when you input specific data on a Google spreadsheet, if somebody has that exact Google spreadsheet open on their computer, they can see exactly what you wrote.
Yeah.
So pretend like when you write on the Google sheet that it gets locked in forever and nobody can delete it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what blockchain technology is, where when any single person is writing on this Google sheet, and once it's written, it can't be deleted. And so you have a track record of every single, in the financial side of things, you have a track record of every single transaction that has happened. But in the social media side of things, when decentralized social media comes to place, is every single profile that gets created, every single post that gets made can never be deleted. And so that becomes very powerful because right now, very influential people are at the mercy of these large social media platforms like Meta, like Twitter, even though Twitter is trying to go more decentralized, where if they talk back about their values, for example, talking back about like the COVID vaccine or any of these platforms, any of these major things that they have their own opinions about, they can delete them off the platform and delete their entire income overnight.
Yeah, 1000%. And I don't think people realize, it's, I don't want to get deleted, so I'm going to be careful what I say. But like the thing is, they don't realize how much power big tech has right now. And, what they say, absolute power corrupts absolutely. The deal is, if you look at like the top 100 companies in the United States, most of them are tech. Apple being number one, but even as far as like Netflix is the 42nd highest grossing market cap company in the world. Like I mean, and that's below like oil and shit. Like, so when people realize that, and essentially what they're selling us ourselves. And if they don't agree with the narrative that you're pushing, or if they don't agree with your opinion, and if they don't like it, if it doesn't agree with them, I mean, they deleted the freaking president. Who are you? And so, it is something that to be concerned about. There does need to be, in my opinion, some legislation that's that gives the person the power to regulate their privacy, because that's exactly what social media has disrupted, is people's privacy. And their ability to speak freely, even though we like, hey, we have freedom of speech, unless you say that, and the guys don't like it, and then you're freaking, then you're toast, right? Like I talked to a guy the other day on my podcast, Brian Casella, who said that he started speaking about stuff, and all of a sudden he stopped growing, like overnight, like he just got shadow banned. And I know it can happen because it's as simple as them clicking a button and saying, you know what, we don't like this thing anyway. And I don't really understand the reason behind it, but I guess I don't need to.
Well, it's because I think the people in power are trying to push their agendas, and the best way to push their agendas is when they can capture everybody's attention and direct it in the way that they want it to go. And the reason they're able to get around it is because they make every single person sign the terms and conditions when they sign up for the account. And the reason everybody's okay with signing up for their terms and conditions that basically gives them no freedom and no control over their account is because they're signing on to a free platform. And social media has always been free across all platforms up until this point. And that's what has made it so enticing, and what has given these massive companies complete control. Because when you sign up for something that's free, it's like you don't have to sign up for the account. But in reality, you do, because we live in a digital age, and social media is the number one component of where the majority of people's attention goes. And so if you're not on social media, you're basically not part of society right now.
Yeah, that's very true. And sometimes it's not a bad thing if you want to unplug, right? You don't want to be a part of society and stuff like that. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Make sure you give us a 5-star review. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this podcast with a friend, and make sure that you schedule a call with me and my team. We have the Millionaire Mentorship program. This is for newbie and advanced investors to get started investing in real estate. And if you're listening to this podcast right now, that's exactly what you want, right? You want to learn how to invest in real estate. It's changed my life. It can change your life. And we have a program that'll help you get your first or next investment property within the next 90 days, or I'll pay you $1,000 cash and you don't pay. Guess what else we're launching? We're launching a fund. And if you're interested, I'll include a link in my bio to this fund where you can actually invest with me on a lot of the properties that we're in. In fact, I'm in one of my properties right now in downtown Kansas City, in a building that I bought using my own money, but I started with just one property, and you can do the exact same thing that I did, but you got to get started. You got to take action. So whether you want to invest with me in my fund or whether you want to schedule a call with my team, both those links are in the bio. Enjoy the show. Give us a 5-star review. So how do you guys spend your days these days?
Well, I'm in Bali right now. It's 11:30 p.m.
Oh man, thanks for staying up for us, dude. Are you really in Bali?
Yeah.
I've been there, dude. I actually ran from the cops in Bali. Like we got, we just arrived. It was 2012. Me and my buddy went there. We flew there from, I think Thailand, from Bangkok, Thailand. And we had gotten on the scooters. You know, everybody's got a freaking moped out there. And so we're driving. All of a sudden, somebody's flagging us over on the side of the road. I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. I'm like, we didn't do anything. He's like, go. And we're all of a sudden, we're down a rice field in the middle of nowhere. And like, and the guy never, you know, but yeah. Bali,
that's hilarious.
Bali's a great place. What are you doing in Bali?
Dude, I came out here. I planned this trip like a year ago, and I heard that it had a really good fitness and health scene in Canggu. And so I just wanted to check it out. Bali was always on my list, and there was a period of this month where it was like my birthday month, and I was able to take it a bit more easy on work. And yeah, dude, it's been sick. I've been working out more than I ever have, and it's been fun. But in terms of everyday life, like I'm in Puerto Rico for 6 months out of the year. I usually do like the first 6 months, like January to June, and then traveling around pretty much just the rest of the year. So
you sound like you're living like a retired life almost. And because you are the quintessential, but big time, not like the quintessential. You're like a big time digital nomad, because you're able to float throughout the country because you make your money through the computer. So as long as you have strong Wi-Fi, the ability to do everything, you can make things happen. You don't need to be at an office working in the same location. You can be wherever you need to be, right? And so tell me about the personal fitness. Like you are in good shape. The other thing I saw the other day on your social media that wowed me about Luke, which I was like, this is cool. I didn't realize you were a baller. Like you play some basketball.
Yeah.
Like good, like that, like not like just, hey, he can make a couple of shots. Like I was doing the research and I was scrolling through and I saw like something where you're like taking it to the hoop, full, like just right up the middle. And I'm telling you, I'm a sports fan, but I'm a big time basketball fan. I used to like to play, grind it out. So you are a baller. Tell me about like physical fitness, athleticism. Where does all that come from?
Yeah, I played basketball. Well, I was just gifted with athleticism for sure from a young age. But I played basketball since I was grade 4. Basketball has always been my sport. And then I took a lull period in between grade 9 and 10 because I didn't have a growth spurt, which was super annoying. And so I was like 5'6", 5'7" in grade 9, grade 10. And so I was kind of in that transition period where I couldn't play point guard, but it couldn't really go down low either. And then in grade 11, I shot up to 6'4". So I, I played varsity and was like a power forward center, and just have played that ever since. And then afterwards went to a men's league. Nothing serious, but yeah, I love basketball. Basketball is actually one of my, it's for sure my favorite sport to play, because it's one of the only times that I'm able to play it and completely disconnect from everything else, because I'm so in the present with things. And I think I almost think I get into a meditative state where I have a very hard time just sitting down and meditating. But after I play a game of basketball, I feel like I just meditated.
That's interesting. It is so hard to unplug, especially because our brains are so stimulated from the social media, stimulated from everything that we're listening to. And it's hard to be at peace just sometimes in like the present moment and take that for what it's worth. But I can see, just because of the mechanics of basketball, like you have to focus on the drive, the dribble, the shift, the shake, the how you're going to go. And it's, it's an art, it's an artistry, right? Like you watch Michael Jordan, and in his, I'm sure you've seen what's on Netflix, the Michael Jordan story. And
loved it.
Yeah. And like, you can appreciate the athleticism. I'm a big fan of it. It's something I pushed my son on. He's really not that interested in it, but I certainly, am trying to vicariously live through him. And, it's cool to see your athleticism. Now, the physical fitness, how did that become so important to you? And why did you go to Bali to learn more about it?
Yeah. So the physical fitness, I've been working out since grade 9. And I realized that working out was so much more than just getting big and getting more shredded. And for my entire high school, I only worked out to get more shredded, get bigger, look good for girls. That was my main objective. Yeah. And then there were periods of time where I slacked on working out, and I realized all of the other things that it affected in my life, where it affected basically my work performance. It affected my sleep when I didn't work out. It affected my digestive system. It affected my focus skills when I was trying to get into flow states. It affected my mindset, my confidence levels, all of these other things where I've realized that working out and just personal health is so important, not just for longevity of life, but just for your overall business performance. And so I would much rather be lowering the amount of hours I work in the day and be using those hours to be as efficient as possible by doing things like focusing on my diet, my health, working out, doing things like basketball, and just making the times of the day that I am working as efficient as possible.
Those are wise words from a young man. I mean, I could tell you that is something that a lot of people struggle with. I mean, I think most people outside the U.S. view the U.S. as a big old bunch of fatties that sit behind TVs and watch Netflix, and that's a lot of reasons we are. And when you realize that, and that's something that's super annoying as well, is that our FDA and the Food and Drug Administration has really not got our back in terms of giving us making sure that we're getting the food and stuff that we need. Instead, we're just like, all you see in the grocery store is a bunch of chemically laden foods that are not good for you. And so to eat healthy, you have to like completely turn a switch and say, I'm going to be super informed. Like, we just bought a half rack of beef, like a half a cattle. And like, I'm loving it that I know that was raised by people on a farm. They killed it. They didn't have any hormones. It didn't have any nasty stuff in it. And I'm just cluing in on this at 46 or 45, and you're clued in already. So hats off to you, man, on that. So your goals, like, where do you see yourself going with your business? What are your dreams, ambitions? I mean, you've already accomplished a lot.
Yeah, I have some pretty big dreams and ambitions. I after reading the book Think and Grow Rich, have you ever read that one?
1937. My first dog's name was Napoleon. Okay, that's how much that book's been to me. Okay.
Yeah. I just love on the front of the cover of the book. It says that this book could be worth $1 million to you. I think that book's worth way more than $1 million to me. Like, yeah,
For
I've crafted so many. Yeah, I've crafted so many of my goal setting techniques from that, where it just puts in such a simple framework that you can utilize. Like setting an exact goal, usually a monetary goal, with an exact timeline. What are you going to give up in order to obtain that goal? And then reverse engineer usually the major steps in order to obtain that. And I use that for my long-term goals, and I use it for my short-term goals too. And so long-term goals is like before the age of 30, I want to buy a $50 million private jet. And then before the age of 40, I want HighKey to be $1 billion company.
Those are amazing goals. I personally also want to own a jet. I don't think before the age of 30, unless I can figure out time travel. But I do have a goal by the time I'm 50 to own a private jet. And,
Yes.
it has to make sense from a financial standpoint, right? Like you just are not going to do it because it's like, hey, that was my goal and it doesn't make sense. For me, I could own a private jet right now, but it would be like, it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't be a good, for right now, we're just, travel hacking for lack of a better word. But so $1 billion company, I think that, I also have very similar goals. And I think the only way to build $1 billion company truly, in my opinion, is to build a company and take it public. And that's my personal opinion. Do you see that being the path to that way as well?
How I've seen as the path is just seeing the other top industry leaders of PR firms. We're just USA based PR firms. There's over 10 that are doing over $1 billion per year in revenue. And so there's tons that have over $1 billion valuation. And my initial goal is just getting to $1 billion valuation, which is probably like 100 million per year with like maybe a 10 times EBITDA. And so, in terms of getting to that level, I think it's very realistic with just being private and just getting up to that level with what we're doing, because we have people who work on our team right now that have worked for like Edelman and some of the other big PR firms that are, say, doing 7 billion per year type thing. And our services are way better in terms of like what they're delivering for. They just work with way bigger clients and way bigger fish than what we're currently working on. So their opportunity size is just much bigger.
That's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. Luke, one thing I had a question on, you've been able to get people in news magazines like Forbes, Money, all of the big names. You're able to get anybody in there. And my question is, how?
So what happens in the PR industry is like most PR firms, they never set any guarantees, because when people go to school for PR, it's very hush hush, where guarantees are this frowned upon thing that don't exist in the PR world. And so we came into the industry and I'm like, why doesn't this exist? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. The people who come onto services for PR, they want guarantees. So let's give them guarantees. And so we found ways, for example, ways to connect with various contributor writers and staff writers and publications that come to us because they know we have industry leaders in various industries for stories. Because what people don't realize is that these publications, contributors, staff writers, their livelihoods depend on putting out good stories every single day. They have quotas to hit on stories that need to be published. And we have industry leaders that can give information and insight on those popular topics. And so it's a huge snowball effect that we've built over the past 5 years of just connecting with more contributor writers. And then on the front end of working with clients is we have a pretty heavy vetting process of when clients come to us, of us not selling everybody, unfortunately. And it's been hard, where we kind of set our sales up process up like an interview, where we're basically figuring out what their story is and if there's anything there to craft a newsworthy angle around it.
That's awesome. And that's a great idea. I mean, and guarantees, I mean, if you're willing to put a guarantee, it's pretty hard not to take that seriously, especially when all your competition is not. Going kind of back into the A-list celebrities, you had a couple of these guys really come into your world. I don't remember the name, and I'm sure you do. There's a guy with a lot of tattoos, like
6ix9ine.
6ix9ine, yes. And I felt like he became a part of your family as much as you guys. I mean, these people are normal people. They're just human beings, right? And so like you guys ended up doing a lot of work with that individual. And I wanted to ask you, as you guys are building these relationships, life is all about relationships. As you're building these relationships, who are some goals of people that you're trying to meet? And how do you make those connections?
Definitely one of the top people who top two people we're trying to do a campaign with, or at least connect with in some sort of way, is Justin Bieber and Ronaldo.
Okay. So if you're listening, or Ronaldo, if you're listening right now, hit up Luke. And I mean, seriously, what's the harm, right? Like and I'm not saying they are, but I mean, Justin Bieber, he's a young guy. Ronaldo, my daughter loves him, soccer player. Justin Bieber, my daughter loves him, music sensation. Why these two particular individuals?
Justin Bieber, I had a hatred with back in elementary and high school because all of the chicks just loved him.
Right.
And it was kind of like a jealousy thing.
Yeah.
And over the course of time, I've seen how authentic he's become. I'm all about when I get into somebody that asks, like, create very interesting character in terms of the perspective that he has on life, like getting into the limelight, celebrity at such a young age, overcoming drugs, having unlimited money before the age of 20, where he could blow it on anything. Like, what are all these things that he's had to overcome with his mindsets? And then Ronaldo, Ronaldo's debatably one of the most famous people in the entire world, and just a campaign with him would just go nuts.
So are you actively pursuing those connections?
We send Ronaldo's manager an offer once a month, and we did a giveaway with Ronaldo's girlfriend a few months ago.
So it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. Yeah. And you're doing what is so important in business. And if people didn't hear this, I want to repeat that. The fortune is in the follow-up. And if you can't just get it on the first time with anything, and people are so they want instant gratification. Okay, I'm going to do this and I'll send the person a message. And if they don't respond, I'm done. But you are sending something every month to be top of mind, right? Top of mind. Like, this guy isn't good. And that's a respectable trait that most business people are going to recognize and say, like, hey, Luke doesn't give up. Luke doesn't take no for an answer. We like this kid. That's a quality that we like. Whereas most people would say, oh, well, that guy's annoying or persistent, or he calls too much. It's actually the exact opposite. People appreciate you for being consistently in front of them.
So true. Yeah. Little baby in the Instagram DMs, when he agreed to the deal, I had to follow up with him 22 times before we got the deal to happen. Like, follow up is where all of the money is made on any deals that you're making, any connections that you're making, any sales that you're making. There's crazy stats out there, like 82% of businesses never follow up past the first follow up. It takes 7 touch points on average to make a sale. All of these things where if you get somebody's email or phone number where it's free to contact them, free to email them, free to call them, free to text them, like, do it as much as you possibly can.
Do you guys use skip tracing technology or anything like that, or CRMs to keep track of folks?
Yeah. So we've used actually a lot of different CRMs. We've bounced around. We're currently on Go High Level, and
I'm in. I'm the same. I love that program.
Yeah,
I just got into it.
Yeah,
it's the best.
I love Go High Level. The customizations are ridiculous. They're only improving their user face and their back end. There's unlimited opportunities. There's so many agencies that white label Go High Level where you could be using a CRM and it's likely Go High Level on the back end. And then for cold calling, we either used Kixie right now, or we've used Phone Burner beforehand. Really good for they wrap your phone number basically with the area code of the person you're calling in, and it increases pickup rates by over 50% when you're calling somebody in New York and they're receiving a call from a New York area code.
Which is so crazy in this age that people are still that particular about it, because we know that everybody's moving around. Like, but I have a 702 number and people won't pick it up a lot of times because they're like, oh, you're spamming, you're from Vegas. And you're right. Like those cell phone services are massively important. So I can't say that enough. So to kind of wrap things up, because I know it's late there and we're short on time. How do people get a hold of you if they want to reach out for HighKey services? How do they follow your story?
Yeah, I'm posting way more on social media now. I've started posting more over the past couple of months, and I'm going to be putting out a crazy amount of content over the next year. But yeah, my handles are at Luke Lintz, Luke, and then last name Lintz. Really anywhere. Mainly Instagram and YouTube are what I'm focusing on right now.
Okay, awesome. And what if you're a person listening to this show, what do you think the number one thing that somebody could do for their business right now is?
It's very particular in terms of where people are at in terms of their business. But a few takeaways that I've had that have made me catapult in business. One is focusing down. And I think a lot of people in business are have their focus in many different areas. And so they're not able to give their full attention on the main thing that's making them money, or they're making money in multiple different areas. And so they can't figure out which one to cold-heartedly pursue. And people get into different mindsets of like how the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. And that's completely ridiculous, because that's usually not how they got there. They got there by delving deep onto one focus, one area of revenue, and then diversifying after they've made their wealth. And so I think if somebody's starting out, like the main thing would just be focusing on something and giving it your complete attention.
I think that's great advice. In fact, it's advice I could always use. You know, it's so hard to focus, right? Like it's sometimes distracting yourself is easier than focusing on the thing that makes you the most money, right? Like you're like, oh, I'll just go back to the old whatever the habit is that I'm good at, versus trying to get better. Like go high level, as you talked about CRMs. That's another version of reinventing myself. I've been at the same CRM for 12 years, but watching that this system not only, has such a big potential to make such a huge impact in my business because of so many things that it eliminates, and it takes away some of the clouding of the Zapiers, the this, the that, the other things that I can just say goodbye. I have one software now. I can dive all the way in and hyper focus on this software. That's why I'm excited about it. Luke, you are somebody that I really, really look up to. I think that you have an amazing spirit. I think that you have an amazing work ethic. I think that, your parents are probably really proud of you. I see you as very mature at such a young age. And I can't wait to see what the future holds. If you're ever in Kansas City, or if you're ever in Vegas and we're there, let's make sure we connect. We haven't connected since we really met in person that one time. And both of our careers have gone the right direction. So you're somebody that I want to keep in touch with. I really want to thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for spending your time with us when it's late at night in Bali and you could be in bed getting the rest that you need, and hanging out with your girl and everything like that. So I really appreciate you sharing a ton of knowledge, a ton of experience. And for you guys who are listening right now, make sure you give Luke the respect he deserves by giving him a 5-star review and sharing any of these great points with your friends, because obviously that helps it go viral, and that's what we're trying to do. And somebody just gets in the right hands, connect with Luke, hire him to grow your personal brand. It's you can see he's got over 1 million followers on Instagram. He's going all in on the social. One other thing I just want to add to kind of wrap things up: anytime Luke posts anything, it goes viral. Like there's not a lot of stuff that you post. Like I post a lot more, but I have a lot less views on my stuff. When you post, the videos go. It's true. It's true, man. So you know what you're doing.
Appreciate it, Troy. Thanks for the praise, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, I appreciate having you. Thanks a lot, man. Guys, check Luke out on all the socials. We'll check you on the next one. Peace. Okay, on November 10th and 11th in Kansas City, Missouri, we are hosting our mastermind event, which is where you're going to learn how to wholesale, flip, buy and hold, BRRRR, every single real estate strategy under the sun, happening November 10th and 11th in Kansas City, Missouri, right downtown in the building that I bought, using the methods that we will teach you, and you will have everything that you need to get started investing in real estate. We're going to have attorneys there to set up your asset protection trusts, LLCs. We're going to have sales and marketing funnel experts to help you set up your sales and marketing funnels. We're going to have a tax consultant to make sure that you can eliminate your taxes. And then we're going to have all of the experts, all people who have retired from their 9-to-5, who are going to speak on you, how they become multimillionaires through investing in real estate. And they're going to teach you the strategies that they use and do every day so that you can become financially free by investing in real estate. That's November 10th and 11th in Kansas City, Missouri. Go to millionairementorshipmastermind.com. Buy your ticket today.